Welcome once again to Commander by Dayton. Today we continue our tribute to my lovely wife and editor, Cute Stuff the Dragon Lady. Now, dragons aren't exactly the most social of beasts. Sure, you sometimes meet a dragon that's fluffy and cuddly, but most dragons would sell their offspring if it meant increasing their treasure hoard. You can always lay more eggs, but gold is eternal. And so comfortable to sleep on. Anyway, leading today's Aristocrats deck is everyone's least favorite dragon noble, Korvold, Fey Cursed King. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Korvold, Fey Cursed King is a 5-mana 4/4 legendary dragon noble with flying. Whenever he enters or attacks, we sacrifice another permanent. Additionally, whenever we sacrifice a permanent, we put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold and draw a card. Now, Korvold is considered a CEDH level commander, winning the game with a food chain combo or underworld breach. But we're not a CEDH deck. We are running a couple of fun combos in the deck, but our primary win con involves dragons, either attacking with them or sacrificing them. I mentioned earlier that this is an Aristocrats deck. The difference between an Aristocrats deck and a sacrifice deck is subtle, so allow me to explain it. In a sacrifice deck, you run creatures or permanents that you can sacrifice for value. The card itself says, when this card is put into a graveyard, do XYZ. An example would be a card like Sakura Tribe Elder. On the other hand, Aristocrats is an archetype that wants us to sacrifice as many creatures as possible to trigger other permanents we control. Aristocrats is a 3-card combo: a creature to be sacrificed, a payoff for sacrificing that creature, and some sort of sacrifice outlet that allows us to sacrifice the creature. And in this deck, we'll be sacrificing dragons. I know, Cute Stuff sacrificing dragons? How could she? Gleefully, actually. As much as Cute Stuff loves dragons, she loves winning even more. And that means fewer mouths to feed as well. Dragons are always hungry. Now, this will not be a budget deck. Don't worry, we do have budget dragon decks planned for the rest of the week. I just wanted to go a bit crazy with today's list. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. I know I'm sponsored, so you may not believe me, but Ultimate Guard katanas are the best sleeves on the planet. They have gorgeous colors, like these green ones, are durable and long-lasting, and an absolute joy to shuffle. Let Ultimate Guard protect your cards with katanas. Pick yours up today at your local game store, or order it on Amazon. Link down below. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming with my son over on Musings by Dayton as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. Our land base consists of Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills, Verdant Catacombs, Marsh Flats, Scalding Tarn, Windswept Heath, Polluted Delta, Arid Mesa, Misty Rainforest, Zeatora's Proving Ground, Blood Crypt, Stomping Ground, Overgrown Tomb, Luxury Suite, Spire Garden, Undergrowth Stadium, Haunted Ridge, Rockfall Vale, Deathcap Glade, Raucous Theater, Commercial District, Underground Mortuary, Rakdos Cranarium, Gruul Turf, Golgari Rot Farm, Treasure Vault, Bajuka Bog, 2 swamps, 3 mountains, and 3 forests. Remember, dear viewer, fetch lands don't have a color identity, so you can run any of them in any commander deck if you really wanted to. For mana ramp, we're running Old Gnawbone, Goldspan Dragon, Sakura Tribe Elder, Decadent Dragon, Azusa Lost But Seeking, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Burgeoning, Exploration, Crucible of Worlds, Conduit of Worlds, Ramen-Up Excavator, Soul Ring, Dragon's Horde, 3 Visits, Rampant Growth, Pitiless Plunderer, Revel in Riches, and Sarkhan Fireblood. Some on-theme ramp and some staples, as it should be. Our card advantage package consists of Bladewing the Risen, Ancient Brass Dragon, Into the Pit, Diabolic Intent, Demonic Tutor, Phyrexian Arena, Bouldervine Reclamation, Liliana Dreadhorde General, and Vraska Golgari Queen. A good mix of card draw, tutors, and graveyard recursion. I know it may not seem like a lot, but Korvold draws an obscene amount of cards, so it's fine. For interaction and spot removal, we're running Insidious Fungus, Assassin's Trophy, Abrade, Grave Pact, Dictate of Erebos, Priest of Forgotten Gods, Return to Nature, Feed the Swarm, Chaos Warp, and Bedevil. Lots of ways to keep our opponents in line. Our board wipes consist of Crux of Fate and the Meathook Massacre. Both powerful cards that can win us the game under the right circumstances. The core of our deck consists of Utvara Hellkite, Atsushi the Blazing Sky, Chatterfang Squirrel General, Prosh Sky Raider of Kur, Dragon Broodmother, Nesting Dragon, Primal Vigor, Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, Saw in Half, and Dualcaster Mage. For sacrifice outlets, we've got Warren Soul Trader, Viscera Seer, and Woe Strider. Finally, for payoffs, we're running Mayhem Devil, Marionette Apprentice, Zulaport Cutthroat, Blood Artist, Mirkwood Bats, Nadir's Nightblade, Poison Tip Archer, Bastion of Remembrance, and Agent of the Iron Throne. Lots of ways to help close out the game. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 55 mana sources, but between 37 lands and 18 pieces of ramp. Heavy, I know, but much of our ramp doubles as either card advantage or big dragons we can use to smash our opponents. 12 pieces of card advantage counting our commander and some of our ramp. 10 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Return to Nature and Bojuka Bog, 2 sudden I win cards in the Meathook Massacre and Revel in Riches. The disadvantage with Revel in Riches is that your opponents see it coming. Sometimes that can be fun because they don't know if you're going to have enough treasures on your upkeep to win the game. Maybe you're sitting at 4 and they don't think about the consequences of you also having a Doubling Season, Grave Pact, and a Sakura Tribe Elder sitting on the battlefield. We sack Sakura Tribe Elder and generate 2 treasure tokens. But Grave Pact also triggers, and our opponents each sack a creature, which makes us 6 more treasure tokens. Now we win the game on our upkeep. But that can be done with any Aristocrats deck. We specifically wanted dragons, which is why I included the Saw in Half Dualcaster Mage combo. The idea of creating an infinite number of Utvara Hellkites or Dragon Broodmothers is hilarious to me. Allow me to explain the combo. Both cards must be in hand and we must have 1 creature on the battlefield. We target that creature with Saw in Half and then, holding priority, cast Dualcaster Mage targeting Saw in Half. This creates a copy of Saw in Half, and this new copy targets Dualcaster Mage, creating 2 copies of Dualcaster Mage, both 1/1s. Both of their enters triggers go on the stack. We resolve the first one, copying the original Saw in Half, which is still on the stack. This creates 2 new copies of Dualcaster Mage, both 1/1s. Remember, Saw in Half says round up, and you can't get lower than a 1/1. We repeat this process as many times as we want, each one resolving one of the copies of Dualcaster Mage. All the while, the original Saw in Half is still on the stack. But also on the stack is all of our second copies of Dualcaster Mage. We only resolved half the triggers. We then allow the other half to resolve, all targeting the original Saw in Half. All those then create an absurd amount of copies of one of our other creatures. Say, Udvara Hellkite. Sure, all of our Udvara Hellkites are now 1/1s, but each of them creates a 6/6 dragon for each attacking dragon. But chances are we're going to win the game by just making Korvold big enough to one-shot our opponents. Do you have an Aristocrat deck? Who's your commander? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Borgie, Nazwin, Conga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Austin, William Pye, Kazaris, Booksuit, Patrick, Travis, Naffy, Noodle, Tiz, Art, Kiki Jiki, Gabriel, and Richard. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.